There's a specific moment in a person's life when something shifts. It's not loud. There's no dramatic event, no explosion, no announcement to the world. It happens in silence. In that moment, you stop explaining yourself. You stop seeking approval. You stop needing to be understood. And suddenly, without trying, you become the most dangerous version of yourself that's ever existed. Not dangerous in the way society fears. Dangerous in the way society can't control. Let me show you what I mean. The identity crisis phase. For most of your life, you've been playing a game you didn't design. The rules were written before you were born. Be likable, be agreeable, fit in. Don't make waves. Express yourself, but not too much. Be confident, but not arrogant. Be humble, but not weak. You've spent years trying to solve this impossible equation, trying to be the version of yourself that makes everyone else comfortable. And you know what that got you? Overlooked, underestimated, dismissed. You've sat in rooms where less competent people spoke louder and got more attention. You've watched opportunities go to those who performed confidence better than they possessed skill. You felt the sting of being invisible while wearing a mask that was supposed to make you visible. You did everything right according to the manual, and somehow you still ended up feeling like a ghost in your own life. This creates a specific kind of psychological wound. It's not just disappointment, it's deeper. It's the realization that the world doesn't reward you for being good. It rewards you for being memorable, for being undeniable, for occupying space in a way that forces people to acknowledge your existence. But here's what nobody tells you about that wound. It's not a weakness, it's an invitation to stop playing their game entirely. The shift moment. The moment you become truly dangerous doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It arrives quietly, usually after a betrayal, a loss, or a moment of such profound disappointment that something inside you just breaks. But not in the way you think. What breaks isn't your spirit. What breaks is your need for external validation. What breaks is the invisible chain that connected your sense of self-worth to other people's opinions. What breaks is the illusion that if you just tried a little harder, explained yourself a little better, performed a little more perfectly, they would finally see you. You stop trying to be seen, and paradoxically, that's when you become impossible to ignore. Carl Jung called this process individuation. It's the psychological death that precedes a real birth. You're not becoming a different person. You're becoming the person you always were before the world taught you to be afraid of it, before you learned to dim your intensity, before you discovered that authenticity makes people uncomfortable and that comfort is the currency of social acceptance. In this moment, something shifts in your eyes. Other people can see it, even if they can't name it. There's a quality to your presence now that wasn't there before. You're not trying to prove anything. You're not performing. You're not asking for permission to exist. You're just existing. Fully, unapologetically, and that terrifies people who are still pretending. Shadow psychology. Let me tell you about the part of yourself you've been running from. Jung identified something he called the shadow. It's the repository of everything you've been taught to reject about yourself. Your anger, your selfishness, your desire for power, your capacity for ruthlessness, your darker impulses, your rage at the injustices you've endured. Every quality that would make you unlikable lives in this psychological basement. Most people spend their entire lives keeping this door locked. They're terrified of what's down there. They've been told that acknowledging these parts of themselves makes them a bad person, so they bury it, repress it, pretend it doesn't exist. But here's the truth that will change everything. You don't become dangerous when you reject your shadow. You become dangerous when you integrate it. Integration doesn't mean acting on every dark impulse. It means acknowledging that these capacities exist within you. It means understanding that you possess the ability to be cruel, manipulative, destructive, and choosing not to employ those tools, not because you lack them, but because you've mastered them. A truly dangerous person isn't someone who's all light or all darkness. It's someone who contains both and consciously chooses which one to deploy in each moment. They're dangerous precisely because they understand their own capacity for destruction and have made peace with it. Think about the people who scare you most, not the ones who are overtly aggressive, the ones who are calm, controlled, the ones who could destroy you but choose not to, the ones whose power is evident in their restraint, not their outbursts. That's integrated power. That's what happens when you stop running from your shadow and start walking with it. Power through detachment. Here's where everything inverts. For years, you thought caring was your strength. You thought emotional investment made you human, made you good, made you worthy. And maybe it did. But it also made you controllable. People knew exactly which buttons to press. They knew your fears, your insecurities, your desperate need to be accepted. They could manipulate you with guilt, shame, or the threat of withdrawal. Your emotional availability was the knife they used to cut you. The moment you become dangerous is the moment you realize that detachment isn't cold, it's clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about understanding that your inner state is not hostage to external circumstances. It's about recognizing that needing something gives other people power over you, and wanting something from a place of abundance makes you untouchable. When you stop needing approval, people can't use its withdrawal as a weapon. When you stop needing to be right, arguments lose their sting. When you stop needing to win every battle, you suddenly have the clarity to choose which ones matter. When you stop needing to be understood, you stop wasting energy on explanations that fall on deaf ears. This detachment creates something fascinating in your relationships. People who are used to pushing your buttons suddenly find that the buttons don't work anymore. People who thrived on drama discover you're no longer a willing participant. People who manipulated you through guilt find themselves negotiating with someone who's immune to their tactics. You're not mean. You're not vindictive. You're just no longer available for psychological games, and that unavailability is absolutely terrifying to people who only know how to relate through manipulation and control. The perception shift. Something strange happens after this transformation. The people around you start treating you differently, but they can't articulate why. Suddenly, the same people who overlooked you start seeking your approval. The same people who dismissed your ideas start asking for your opinion. The same people who took you for granted start getting nervous when you're quiet. You didn't change your words. You didn't change your actions. You changed your relationship to their judgment. There's a concept in power dynamics that Robert Greene explores extensively. Perceived power is often more potent than actual power. When you needed things from people, they sensed your weakness. Your need created a power differential that placed them above you. But when you stopped needing, that differential collapsed. Now when you enter a room, there's a different energy. You're not scanning for approval. You're not performing. You're not trying to prove you belong. You simply exist in the space, and your existence carries weight because it's not asking anyone else to validate it. This is deeply unsettling to people. Human beings are wired to assess hierarchy, to determine who's above and below them in the social order. but you've removed yourself from that hierarchy entirely. You're not competing, you're not climbing, you're not even playing the game, and paradoxically, that places you above everyone who's still scrambling for position. Nietzsche wrote about the will to power, but he wasn't talking about domination. He was talking about self-overcoming. The ultimate power isn't power over others, it's power over yourself. It's the ability to be unmoved by praise or criticism, to act according to your own values regardless of social pressure, to stand alone if necessary without falling apart. When people sense you've achieved this, even partially, they instinctively treat you differently. They give you more space. They challenge you less. They seek your validation more, not because you've become aggressive or domineering, but because you've become sovereign. The loneliness of transformation. Let me be honest with you about something nobody else will say. This transformation will cost you relationships, not because you're trying to lose people, but because you're no longer willing to pretend. You're no longer available for surface-level connections that require you to hide your depth. You're no longer interested in friendships built on shared complaints rather than shared growth. You're no longer willing to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. And that's isolating. There's a specific loneliness that comes with waking up while everyone around you is still asleep. You'll sit in conversations that used to engage you and feel absolutely nothing. You'll watch people complain about problems they refuse to solve and realize you can't save anyone who doesn't want to be saved. You'll feel like you're speaking a different language than everyone around you, and in a way, you are. Dostoevsky understood this. His characters, who undergo profound psychological transformation, are almost always isolated. They see too much. They understand too much. They can't unknow what they've learned about themselves and about human nature. This knowledge separates them from the comfortable delusions that keep most people functioning. But here's what makes it bearable. You're not lonely because there's something wrong with you. You're lonely because you're no longer willing to abandon yourself for the comfort of belonging. And that's not a weakness. That's integrity. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, wrote about the importance of meaning over happiness. He observed that those who survived weren't the physically strongest, but those who had a reason to survive, a meaning that transcended their circumstances. Your loneliness during transformation isn't meaningless suffering. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the necessary isolation of the chrysalis before the butterfly. The people who can't handle your transformation will leave. Let them. The ones who are meant to walk beside you will recognize what's happened and respect it. And you'll discover something remarkable. A few deep connections built on authenticity are infinitely more nourishing than dozens of shallow ones built on performance. The philosophical integration. So what does it mean to be truly dangerous in the psychological sense? It means you've done the hardest work a human being can do. You've faced yourself honestly. You've acknowledged your capacity for darkness without becoming dark. You've integrated your shadow without being consumed by it. You've developed the ability to feel deeply without being controlled by your feelings. You've learned to want without needing, to care without clinging, to love without losing yourself. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Most people live under the direction of unconscious drives, unexamined beliefs, and inherited traumas. They're puppets who think they're autonomous. They're reacting to their conditioning while believing they're making choices. But you've cut the strings. You've examined your conditioning and decided what to keep and what to discard. You've looked at your wounds and chosen to heal them rather than inflict them on others. You felt your rage and fear and pain and decided they don't get to drive the vehicle anymore. They're passengers, acknowledged and integrated, but not in control. This is what Nietzsche meant by the Übermensch, the person who overcomes themselves. Not superhuman in the physical sense, but psychologically transcendent. Someone who's looked at everything they were taught about who they should be and decided to discover who they actually are instead. This is why you're dangerous. Not because you'll hurt anyone, because you can't be controlled, can't be manipulated, can't be reduced to someone else's expectation or definition. You've become psychologically sovereign, and sovereignty is the rarest and most threatening quality in a world built on compliance. The final truth. Here's what I want you to understand as we close this. The moment you become truly dangerous isn't the end of something, it's the beginning. It's the moment you stop living according to the script society handed you and start writing your own. It's the moment you stop seeking permission and start taking responsibility. It's the moment you realize that the opinions of people who don't know you, understand you, or see you clearly have exactly zero relevance to your path. You will be misunderstood. Let them misunderstand. You will be judged. Let them judge. You will be feared by people who can't control you and celebrated by people who wish they had your courage. Both responses are irrelevant. Your transformation isn't for them, it's for you. The ancient Stoics had a concept called amor fati, the love of fate, the acceptance of everything that happens as necessary, as perfect in its own way, even the suffering. Your pain, your isolation, your moments of doubt and fear, they weren't obstacles to your growth. They were the very mechanism of it. You didn't become dangerous despite those experiences. You became dangerous because of them. So here you are, on the other side of something you can't quite name. You're not who you were, and you're still discovering who you are. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. The discomfort you feel isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that something's finally right. You've stopped playing small. You've stopped apologizing for your existence. You've stopped waiting for permission to take up space. And now you carry yourself through the world differently, not with arrogance, but with certainty. Not with aggression, but with unmovable presence. That's the moment. That's when you became truly dangerous. Welcome to the rest of your life.